Hi, my name is Adrian and I'm a recruiter with BestLogic Staffing. We are on a mission to build a better workforce, and that all starts with a great resume. Whether you're a resume novice or you've made a couple resumes in the past, there's always room for improvement. So let's get started. And also guys, feel free to check out BestLogic Staffing on all of our platforms. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and don't forget to like this video. So one of the most important things on your resume is to have proper formatting. No matter how great your experience is, if you don't have proper formatting, an employer may overlook your resume. So what you want to do is stick with conventional and readable fonts such as Times New Roman, Arial, and Calibri. These fonts are easy to read and they provide the employer with a much easier access to your resume and viewing your experience. You want to keep sizing consistent throughout the whole document. This pertains to the font itself, as well as the spaces between sections and spaces between experiences. The resume as a whole should look professional and pleasing to the eye, even with a quick glance. The one exception to this would actually be with your work experiences. Hiring managers would like to see two things: where you worked and how long you worked there, but we'll get to that in a quick second. By sparingly using bolds and italics, you can actually help the hiring manager find what they're looking for within the first couple of seconds. The most important thing to keep in mind is that hiring managers typically spend about 15 seconds looking at your resume, so you want to keep it neat and condensed down to one page. The second key thing to constructing your resume are dates of employment. Hiring managers are looking for how long you worked there and how recently you worked there. So it's important that you include months and years, or just years, but it's important to keep it consistent throughout the resume. It's ideal to keep your most recent experiences up at the top of the resume, and make sure to include any training, schooling as well too within a similar time frame. Outside of your work experience and education, it's also important to include extracurriculars or activities on your resume, especially if you're new to the job market. What this will consist of are any miscellaneous accomplishments that you may have, such as volunteer work, community service, or any achievements in school or even on the job, especially if they won't naturally appear on your resume. Not only is this a great way to bulk up your resume, but it's also a great way for the hiring manager to understand who you are as a person. Nowadays in this job market, employers are not only looking to see how qualified you are technically for the position, but also how well you fit within their company culture. Especially if a job is competitive, an employer may have 10 other candidates who are perfectly qualified, so having these extensions on your resume would only help you stand out even better. To build off that, another great section on your resume would be your skill sets. This section would vary depending on the types of positions you are applying for, but also it should be adjusted as you see fit depending on what the employer may be looking for. What you want to do is provide the employer with any relevant information about your capabilities that cannot otherwise be seen on the resume. You want these skills to stick out and be attention-grabbing. That means using bullet points as opposed to full sentences. Remember, this section is for you to sell your honest self as best as you can. This brings me to my last point, the header underneath your name. Two important pieces of information would be your contact information as well as your approximate location to the position. While your location may not be relevant for any remote jobs or online positions, an employer may require a physical presence, so knowing your location only does you better. You don't need to provide your full address, but it should be a common practice to at least include the town or county in which you would be traveling from. The closer you are in proximity to the location, the more likely you are to be in contention of that position. As for the contact information on your resume, you would resort to using an email address as well as the best number to reach you. An example of a professional email address would be first initial last name, first name first initial, just as long as it looks clean. Also, make sure that your phone number is up to date and it's in service, otherwise an employer may completely scratch your resume. Alright guys, remember to keep these tips in mind when you're creating a new resume or even updating your current one, and you should be in tip-top shape for your next job application. Remember to follow BestLogic Staffing on all of our platforms, and feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and share with your friends. We're always here to help you with your career path, so feel free to give us a call. Signing off, I'm Adrian Budhu.